Hey guys, check it out. You're watching Jonathan Clarke on YouTube. Oh no! I have had the honor of talking about Descendants of Zombies for a very long time, but when it comes to talking about Freya Skye and creating relatable content for the Freya Skye fandom, this is an experience unlike anything that I've ever had the chance to experience in my lifetime, and I know that I will never ever forget any of you. And if there was one thing that I've always and forever wanted you guys to know and hold close to your heart, is that I will never ever forget any of you, and I will forever and always appreciate you for the moments that we shared in together, how we created so many unforgettable moments for every fan of Freya Skye out there. Because out there in this really big universe, there is always one girl who loves Freya Skye with all of her heart, and all she's ever wanted to be a part of is a really cool Freya Skye video that she can watch. And it gives me great honor and great joy and great pleasure in every Freya Skye video that I've ever had the honor to create. Because YouTube creation is something I've taken a great deal of pride in, and I put my heart behind every video that I've ever had the honor of recording a video with my thoughts in it that I've shared with thousands of people, if not millions, who have become fans of Freya Skye because they draw inspiration from their music or their music videos, or how they see a hero in somebody like Freya Skye. Because for every villain there's a hero, and for every hero there's a villain, and there's always conflict, and there's always a critic out there that always has something negative to say about Freya Skye, I know. But you know what outshines that every single time? It's your devotion and your heart and your dedication you've always brought forth for Freya Skye, because Freya Skye has shown so much heart for each and every one of you, so the feeling is really represented mutually through how you guys have felt about Freya Skye and how you represented her, how you've shown up every single time for a performance or a get-together with so much love and support, which is something I can never commend you guys enough for. You guys truly are the greatest fans in the world. You've given me so much incentive to create so much wonderful Freya Skye content that has gone on to achieve so much rarity and been relatable to so many wonderful people. I've loved this opportunity so much, not just to talk about Freya Skye, but to have the chance to meet so many incredible fans who see a hero in Freya Skye, because I honestly believe that she's one of the greatest heroes of all time. Nova Bright was a hero. She was originally put in the Zombies 4 Down the Vampire script to come off as a hero, and she has come off as a hero. And nobody could have ever represented the character Nova Bright the way that Freya Skye did so effectively. She resonated with so many wonderful people, not only through her character she portrayed, but also through her music, because she was writing relatable music and she was putting beautiful lyrics to music at such a young age. One of the first music videos I ever saw from Freya was The Person I Thought I Knew. It was shot in an open concept field. The sun was setting in the background. She had this beautiful gown on, and I never ever forgot it. She was lying there on the grass. She was singing these lyrics about how she was trying to desperately forget about somebody, but she couldn't. It wasn't because of something she was going through. It was how she was trying to create something relatable for each and every one of you and share in these experiences that she's had the honor of being a part of. Everything from The Next Step to the Zombies Descendants Worlds Collide Tour, which was a time in my life I will never ever forget. Last summer was the greatest honor I had as a YouTube creator to have bestowed upon me, having a chance to cover this Worlds Collide Tour and seeing over 20,000 people each and every single night coming out to support their favorite Descendants of Zombie stars, especially Freya. You guys had your glitter signs, you had your beautiful gowns, and you showed up and you truly glowed in that crowd. I don't care how many critics were seen in the Descendants of Zombies Worlds Collide Tour crowds and how they would go home and they would shoot a YouTube video for the purpose of receiving criticism for their videos about how they felt about the Descendants of Zombie stars and their performances, how the merchandise didn't live up to a certain standard or expectation. I think that everything certainly exceeded my expectations as a journalist and as a fan, because every video that I've ever recorded, I've spoken from the perspective of a fan. And if you can never create relatable content, then you should never create a video at all. I've had the honor of not only talking about your favorite stars, such as Kylie and Freya and Malia and Ruby, who I love so much, because you guys have come to know me for being a guy who has the biggest crush in the world on Ruby Rose Turner because of just how genuine she was. There was just something about how genuinely sweet the girl was, and how she always just wanted to put her heart in behind everything that she was ever a part of. She wanted to be a part of the live-action Tangled. I don't know if she ever auditioned for it, but she always wanted to be a part of the live-action Tangled because her favorite Disney princess was Rapunzel. And who was Freya Skye's favorite Disney princess? It was too Rapunzel, because of how they both had blonde hair, how they have relatable qualities. And if there was ever somebody that could have brought Rapunzel to life in a live action, it would have had to have been Ruby Rose Turner or Freya Skye, because of just how much that character meant to them, how they drawed of verity from them, how their emotions were really running wild. Now, I know Tegan Croft has that honor bestowed upon her to be the live-action Rapunzel, but I think that Freya, Skye, and Ruby Rose Turner would have done that far more effectively with how relatable they've been and come off for having been with Descendants of Zombies fans. You guys have forever and always been drawn to these stars for their music and how they represented themselves from whatever projects they were a part of, because I know many of you remember Ruby Rose Turner from shows like Eden and Fuller House off Netflix, and I was always a big fan of Ruby, going all the way back to Coop and Cammy Ask the World. It became Disney's answer, I think, for iCarly, either that one or Berserk. And once I heard Logan Paul taking exception to Berserk's themes in a recent Impulsive podcast, I always thought that if we were going to say something nice about your favorite Disney stars, such as Kylie Cantrell and Freya Skye, the least we can do as YouTubers is say something nice. And I don't care what people like Ryan Seacrest or Logan Paul have ever had to say about your favorite stars, because I've always wanted to give them a chance. Because if you can't give them a chance, then what can you do for them? How can you represent them? There have been thousands of people who have had smiles put on their face forever and always because of Freya Skye's music or Kylie Cantrell's music or the way they've represented themselves. Their images are truly phenomenal. They fall nothing short of being phenomenal. And I say this because you guys allowed me the chance to be a part of an opportunity that I will never, ever forget. You gave me a chance to create so much relatable content that will go on to resonate with so many wonderful fans. I've touched the hearts time and time again of thousands of people, if not millions, because thousands of people watch these videos every day. This YouTube channel averages over 1,000 views for every video and over 10,000 views per month. Just this month we racked up over 10,850 views, which is a record. I think the all-time record for this YouTube channel stands at 11,500 views in just 1 month. The period of over 4 to 5 weeks we put up over 11,800 views, and that's incredible. When you can see these numbers happening for this YouTube channel, it just goes to show, without saying, that every fan of Descendants of Zombies is incredibly loyal to who and what they believe in. It's not just the characters. They all have favorite moments. They all have a favorite song, and we've shared in it together. We've cried many times. We've laughed many times. We've shared in our experiences about being fans of Descendants of Zombies. It is truly incredible, and I don't think I'll ever have the chance to experience anything quite like this ever again. I don't care how many Eras tours Taylor Swift puts up or what the numbers are looking like for Taylor Swift, because she stands at $1.5 billion no matter what she's a part of. I think that Kylie Cantrell and Freya Skye may be a long way away from a revenue standing at $1.5 billion, but I think numbers really don't tell you a whole lot about a person. A person's emotions tell you more about a person than a person's statistics that they're putting out all the time, because for every song Taylor Swift puts out, there's statistics behind it, and there's an argument representing why she is who she is. I think that Freya Skye has felt more honored than Taylor Swift ever has to be a part of these moments, these emotional breakdowns that Freya Skye has on stage are emotional breakdowns that I can never seem to see enough of, because not only is she crying during these moments, but I've seen fans cry during the performances because they can't believe they're ever a part of it. I remember the first time that I ever saw Nickelback years ago, and I felt so honored to be a part of it, and I had an emotional breakdown seeing all the pyro going off and Nickelback having this great performance and having the time of their life, everybody having so much fun. And, I remember seeing the first few performances that were thrown up on YouTube of the Worlds Collide Tour, and just seeing your guys' reactions and the energy being at an all-time high is something that I never, ever forgot, and something that I've never felt so honored to be a part of. I hope we do get to Leg 2 of the Worlds Collide Tour, because by the time that happens, people like Kylie Cantrell and Freya Skye will achieve more recognition than perhaps ever before, because recognition is what this comes down to. I think every single person who's ever been a fan of Freya Skye has been able to identify with Freya Skye, has seen something special in every music video and every single song. That's what's made this so special for me, seeing how she resonates with so many wonderful people, and I can't help but find time in appreciating that. If there was one niche that I could provide commentaries for time and time again, it would have to be Descendants of Zombies. And if I could never be a part of the Descendants of Zombies universe, then I don't know what I'd ever want to be a part of. I would choose the Descendants of Zombies niche time and time again. I've had a greater appreciation taken away from every single time that I've ever seen Descendants of Zombies, because each time that I've seen it, I've heard the story and seen the story told in a very different way, from very different perspectives, because everybody has a different opinion when it comes to Descendants of Zombies. And I think that's what's made this so special for every fan of Descendants of Zombies, is that everybody has a different opinion, everybody has a different prediction they've made, and everybody has something to be excited about in the very near future for Descendants of Zombies. Because even with how far Descendants 5 Book of Wonderland seems to be, or Zombies 5 is never going to happen, I think everybody has more of a reason to be excited than ever before. Because the beautiful thing about Victor and Nova's love story in Zombies 5 is that we really don't know that much about it. So because we really don't know that much about it, it presents a feeling of unpredictability, and it really makes it fun for every fan of Descendants of Zombies not knowing what's coming next. I think from the very first moment we saw that vortex, we knew something special was inside of it. We really didn't necessarily know it was going to be mermaids. That was just a prediction. It could have been witches, it could have been trolls, it could have been sirens, it could have been a variety of different things. Because for those of you who have always had a greater appreciation for supernatural lore, there are so many supernatural characters that could be seen in the Zombies franchise that I'm really excited to experience with each and every one of you for perhaps the very first time. Now that may have something to do with how I've lived around this island, and there are so many stories about mermaids and pirates often associated with it, and so much of a supernatural lore, because I live in one of the most highly populated places where there's a lot of haunting activity happening. I live in one of the most haunted places in the world, so it provides a very unique opportunity to create Descendants of Zombies videos from a whole different perspective. And I think one of the most enjoyable things for me as a YouTube creator is hearing your stories and giving you the opportunity to share with me your stories about how you became a fan of Descendants of Zombies, because everybody has a different reason that separates them from everybody else as to why they became a fan of Descendants of Zombies. Perhaps it had something to do with Kylie Cantrell and Freya Skye's fashion sense, because they've always had a dream of wanting to perform in Madison Square Garden. They've always had a dream of wanting to be on the red carpet. And events like Zombies 4 Dawn of the Vampires, I certainly hope that's not a zombie apocalypse happening outside my window. Every once in a while you'll hear something happening and it will convince you that a zombie apocalypse could be happening, but I've lived here in this haunted house for forever, and I do apologize for that. But I mean, how is one supposed to record videos about Descendants of Zombies if he or she does not live in a haunted house and broadcast his show from a haunted house? I have loved the opportunities that I've had been presented to me as a YouTube creator, because I've met thousands of people, and even with how many thousands of people I've met, I still have so many incredible people to meet to share with me their stories. You know something? I would love to be on the tour bus for the Descendants of Zombies Worlds Collide tour. I would love to be a part of these productions as a writer and producer even, to offer so much incentive, because there's never an endless amount of creative energy that you can offer to this. There's never a moment where you run out of ideas, because as long as somebody believes in these franchises with all of their hearts, there's always an opportunity to create something new, like the beautiful story between Red and Pink, which is going to focus on sisterhood and an appreciation for it. While at the beginning of the movie they may not have an appreciation for sisterhood and what it truly means to people, I think by the end of Descendants 5 Book of Wonderland we're going to have a greater appreciation bestowed upon us for sisterhood and what it's gone on to mean for so many people for so many years. Because many of you probably have a little sister who loves Descendants of Zombies with all of their heart, and you probably never even watched Descendants of Zombies. So that provides you with the perfect opportunity to become familiarized with the characters and its story, because it will give you a chance to relate to your sister who's a huge fan of Descendants of Zombies. You maybe have never watched it before in your life. Maybe you have a friend who's never watched Descendants of Zombies ever in their life, and you're the biggest fan of it. So I think there's always an endless amount of opportunities to present new storylines and an opportunity to create and believe in something so special. And I think through every music video Freya Skye's had the honor of recording and producing and being a part of, we've shared in these experiences. Together we've cried together, we've laughed together, we've had so many unforgettable moments that we've shared and experienced together as fans of Descendants of Zombies, not just fans of Descendants of Zombies. Freya Skye, who is going to be heading to theaters now across the board, 15 states in the United States, with several United Kingdom dates added into her new world tour, which is something I'm really excited about. I hope there really isn't a zombie apocalypse happening outside my window, because I haven't taken the necessary precautions to prepare myself for a zombie apocalypse apocalypse. I haven't even been to the dollar store. I'm heading out later on this afternoon to pick up a coffee and the necessary essentials like food, water, medical supplies. So I'll let you know how that goes every single night. I'm living my life in fear of a zombie apocalypse breaking out because one can never be too prepared for this kind of thing. Thankfully, I played all the necessary horror survival video games such as Resident Evil, Dying Light, Days Gone, you name it, I've played it. I've been there and I've done it. And if there's one guy ever prepared for a zombie apocalypse, it's Jonathan Clarke. And you're saying to yourself, hey, Jonathan Clarke, you really do believe in this story of Descendants and Zombies, don't you? If you've ever wanted to have a chance to believe in anything, I think it should be Descendants and Zombies because it's obviously offers something special to everybody. It's resonated with more people than ever before, and it gave me an opportunity to really share my story with you guys, which is something that I've never really had the opportunity to do through every topic I've ever talked about. Every single time that on-air switch went red and my microphone was unmuted, I never knew how I was going to be received for the topics I would discuss on my radio shows where I was pretty much just a co-host, where I would have to put over the host of a show and whatever theme the show was themed around. It wasn't until recent years that I had the opportunity to host a show from my own home and tell you how I truly felt about the topics that were being discussed, because this show is pretty much an open book. It's about what you want talked about. The pages are blank, and every day we have a new opportunity to tell a story and write a new chapter. And each time that we have an opportunity to write a new chapter, we meet more people, because with every new video that's uploaded here, somebody can find this YouTube channel. For every like, every subscriber this YouTube channel receives, that's what's such an incredible honor for me as a YouTube creator, having the opportunity to resonate with so many wonderful people and touch the hearts of so many incredible fans that I've had the honor to share in these stories with. All you guys have got to know is I will never forget any of you for the profound impact and the forever imprint that you guys have left on my heart. It's been such an honor for me to be able to record these videos and post so much relatable content for every fan of Freya Skye out there, because I know with all of your heart you have loved Freya Skye. How many of you have that Freya Skye hoodie off FreyaSkye.com or some of her latest merch, her posters? I remember years ago when I would have a crush on people like Jessica Simpson, and I couldn't wait to put a poster up as part of my backdrop for my YouTube videos. And as many of you get from my backdrop of my YouTube videos, I feel very passionate about characters like Stitch and Dumbo and, of course, Sonic the Hedgehog, which you see there on my posters. But the thing is, it's all about how you can relate to people. And if you can relate to people through telling your story about how you were a fan of Sonic the Hedgehog, or you may have been a fan of Dumbo, it's really, really cool. There was one point in time when Dumbo was actually hanging from the ceiling as part of my backdrops when I was recording some of my earlier videos about Descendants of Zombies. I'm sorry. I must be suffering from a zombie infection this morning, but we're going to have to deal with that. I don't know what's going on with me, man. I have blood work done all the time, and there's never any signs of vampire blood or zombie transition going on with me. But I've had so much fun creating these videos for everybody, man, and I look forward to having these conversations with so many wonderful people time and time again. Thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of each and every one of your lives and to have represented you as your voice of Descendants of Zombies, because the thing is, this story never had to be over, and it is a long way away from ever being over. Even if Zombies 5 doesn't happen for another 3 or 4 years, all that means is I'm going to have to upload videos about Descendants of Zombies and post relatable content for the rest of my life. And I have had so much fun posting relatable content for everybody and sharing with you my story about how I became a fan of Descendants of Zombies and how I ever so was a fan of these cartoony openings they would have for Zombies 4, Down of the Vampires, Zombies 3 when Aliens first became a part of the franchise. And I know that was a very different take on the Zombies franchise when Aliens first became a part of it, because many people felt as if vampires should have happened ever before Aliens. And I get that. But I think that no matter what order these characters came in chronological order, it presented such a huge opportunity for so many wonderful fans to experience Descendants of Zombies in a way that they never imagined that it possibly would happen. By Zombies, of course, you had Zombies 2 with werewolves, Zombies 3 with aliens, and then Zombies 4 presented vampires for the first time ever. I remember how much anticipation everybody had for Zombies 4, along with the new characters that were being represented in this franchise for the first time ever. It was so cool seeing vampires become a part of these franchises for the first time ever, because vampires were really characters that presented an opportunity to believe in something more than perhaps we ever had before. A love story that we never ever thought would happen between Victor and Nova. And perhaps the most beautiful thing about this love story is that we still have a long way to go, and we really don't know that much about these characters. And by the time that we do, we're going to fall even more in love with them, even with how much of a special place that Zed and Aniston's characters held in our hearts for many, many years. I think that Victor and Nova, Freya, Skye, and Malachi Burton's characters are going to go on to hold an even more important and an even more significant place in all of our hearts, one that we will never, ever forget any of them for. So I would just like to take this opportunity in the final few minutes that I have to say thank you to everybody for being with me from the very first video that was ever uploaded here. I got to go pick some stuff up this afternoon, and I will come back later on tonight with a brand new video with my thoughts in it to share with you on Descendants of Zombies, and I am incredibly excited to share my story once again with you in a whole new light, from a whole new different perspective, because there are never seemingly enough opportunities to share with you my story about how I became a fan of Descendants of Zombies, and for you as fans of Descendants of Zombies to share with me, which is something I always and forever have had a greater appreciation for every single time that I've ever had the honor to share with you my thoughts on Descendants of Zombies. Thank you so much for allowing me to have been a part of your lives and represented you as your voice of Descendants of Zombies, and thank you so much to everybody who has subscribed here and allowed me to be a part of your life representing you as your voice of Descendants of Zombies. It has been so much fun, because I think everybody who's ever been a fan of Descendants of Zombies always and forever has taken something special away from every video that has ever been uploaded here. Thank you so much for loving Descendants of Zombies and representing it as significantly as you have, and thank you so much for believing in this YouTube channel and having watched this video. I, of course, am your host, Jonathan Clarke, and I am proud to say and let the world know that I love Descendants of Zombies. Never be afraid to let anybody know how you feel so passionate about Descendants of Zombies, because you only have one life to live, one opportunity to make every chance count. And I think there's no better way to experience this than by experiencing these feelings and these emotions together. Thank you so much for loving Freya, Skye, and Descendants of Zombies as much as what you have. And thank you so much for having watched this video.